Are you ready for the best damn sports radio show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that while I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who coming to the sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that that's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're out the dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches, won't cut short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live, all 3 speaks, go.
And what is up, everybody? Michael Buckhatcher here with the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page. And, of course, check out the blog section as well. But starting right here on the YouTube channel next week, guys, next Sunday night at youtube.com/manhour, you can become a member over there. We have a 99-cent deal, a $2.99, a $5.99, and then a $9.99 deal. All those will be released next week, so stay tuned, stay active on the like on the page. So if you have a membership over on the manhourradio.com page right now, those are in the process of being canceled and refunded to everybody out there. It's just YouTube is a lot easier to handle stuff and make sure the after hour stuff gets out there promptly and all that good stuff. So we do have an action-packed show for you guys tonight. We're going to talk some NBA playoff action, some play-in games, NFL preseason voluntary workouts getting canceled, some no-nos in the Major League Baseball. But first, we got to welcome the man, the myth, the legend himself, Brandon B.C. Combs. What's going on, Combsy?
What is going on, Michael Buckheister, Man Hour Nation, Big X Radio. Man, what is going on? There's so much stuff going on in the sports world right now. I love it, but sometimes I just can't keep up.
Yeah, it's definitely overwhelming. Just like every now and then when there's there's basketball happening, there's baseball happening, there's the NFL draft is right around the corner. Heck, the hockey playoffs start next week, right, Combs?
Yeah.
It is just I think April and October are the best months as far as sports wise because they're the most busy and the most active and kind of the most overwhelming for us, to be honest.
For sure. And I mean, things happen, and then we're sitting here prepping for the show, and you're like, "Hey, did you hear about this?" I'm like, "No. What are you talking about?" So
right. Then
I have to go research it all and figure out what's going on, and But yeah, it's pretty intense sometimes. But I love it, man. I watching tons of baseball lately. Lots of good stuff going on, especially we'll talk about later with that White Sox game. But
speaking of baseball, how'd the Cubs do today?
Why you gotta go there?
I'm just making sure we are starting the show off on the right
last night after we got off the air when you said they were going to lose, and then Wilson Contreras hit a 2-run bomb in the 8th inning, and the Cubs went on to win that game. But instead, you want to talk about us losing today, getting our butts whooped again.
Yeah.
God, dude, their bats are so bad.
Let's talk about that bat flip, though. Was that the most iconic bat flip? Look at the dugout, throw the bat 100 feet back to the dugout, and then try it around the bases ever?
Oh, yeah, and, he took a lot of thrill in that because of how many, they've hit him, I believe it
was 7 times
in the first 6 games or something.
Yeah, it was, what the commentator said, it was 7 times in the last 15 games.
He's been hit. But just this season, the Brewers alone have hit him 5 times in 6 games.
Why did the Brewers hate him so much? Just because he's a Brewer?
So the word on the street, and you heard me talk about this guy last night in my interview with Tim Dillard.
Yeah,
is that their manager, Mr. Frickin' makes me want to kick puppies himself, does not like the flair that Wilson Contreras plays with. He does not like the way he carries himself. Does not like the way he does whatever it is. All the flair that he plays with. Craig Counsell doesn't like it, so he brings it upon himself to go out there and play baseball god and has his pitchers hit him. which is, is what it is. Yeah, I mean, as of right now, that's really the only way we can get runners on base anyway. So I hope he starts hating all of the Cubs and just starts hitting all of us.
Yeah, and it looks like Combsy Jr. is coming to your rescue here, saying that the the Red Sox are like on a streak, and don't talk about the man's Cubs.
Yeah, definitely stick around and check out my who's hot and who's not.
Yeah,
because the Red Sox, man, Hoffy messaged me today. He's like, am I really thinking about putting the Red Sox at the top of my power rankings?
Yeah, he told me that the same thing, and my first instinct to him was homer. Like, don't be a homer.
Hey,
you better put the Royals up there.
Though. No. They started out 0-3, and everybody was like, man, this team, why are they so bad?
Right.
They started out 0-3 to the Baltimore Orioles, nonetheless, and they haven't lost since.
Yeah, so I mean, they're bound to lose at some point, but yeah, like if you're hot, you're like you're hot, and if you're not, you're not. Speaking of hot, Salvi Perez is hot right now. Dude, he was 8 for 12 in that series versus the Angels, which the Royals took two of them.
He is my catcher in 3 out of my 5 fantasy leagues, and in all 3 of those leagues, I got him in the 10th round or later.
Wow, really? Like, I feel like since he is on the Royals, like he's probably the most slept on player ever. Like if he was like if he was on the Red Sox or Yankees or Angels, like he'd be like number 1 pick. Like it would be
most undervalued player that I can think of in a very long time that like gets no play. You don't hear people talking about him. You hear people talk about Mike Trout. You hear people talk about Fernando Tatis Jr. You hear Wilson Contreras, Yadier Molina. Nobody talks about Salvador, and he's been one of the best offensive catchers. I mean, we know how good he is defensively, but he's one of the best offensive catchers in the game, maybe in the history of the game, and nobody talks about this guy. He is a sleeper, man.
Yeah, so we do have some fans chiming in here. What is up, Nana? Glad you can join in us tonight. Wyatt will be here, guys, on hour number 2. He has his church here on Wednesdays, so he will be coming in late as normal on Wednesday night show here. But speaking of somebody that probably needs to go to church here, Combs, Aaron Donald.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
Well, I mean, you would probably just burn up, go, right? No, I'm totally kidding.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that last week when I was at the funeral for my grandmother, I'm actually surprised that as soon as I touched the Bible to do my reading, that it didn't just blow up.
No, you are a great-hearted person, and that's all that matters in the end. But Aaron Donald, guys, back on April 11th, my birthday, he got into a altercation at the Boom Boom Room. First things first is when first things first. Like if you are a football star and you're at the Boom Boom Room after 2 a.m., you are probably going to get in trouble. Let's just be flat out honest.
Nothing good ever happens at the Boom Boom Room or any other nightclub after 2 a.m. I don't know why athletes, millionaire athletes, billionaire athletes continue to put themselves in these situations.
Well, here is the situation that happened. So Aaron Donald was back at home, and he was celebrating a night out on the town with his boys, and they went to a after spot, a after hours party, much like what we do here on the Man Hour after show, but this is like the after hours party. And so they were at the Boom Boom Room after all the bars closed, and him and a guy named DaVinci.
We need to change the name of the show to the Boom Boom Room.
That's not going to happen at all.
I love that name.
But here's what happened. Aaron Donald and a 26-year-old by the name of DaVinci Springs bumped each other in the club. Me and Combs, we've all been to bars where you somebody just like they pump out their chest and they walk through the crowd just like, and you hit them, and 9 times out of 10 you're the bigger person, like, hey, sorry man, right, and you just go about your way. But when you're a football star and you kind of don't have like a off switch. Well, nonetheless, Mr. Springs and Aaron Donald, they had some choice words, and I'm assuming it probably escalated. Some curse words were throwing around and all that stuff. But these two gentlemen were asked to leave the club. Once they go outside the club, they find each other and they have another altercation. At this point in time, we don't know what exactly happened, but we do know the outcome. And like Mr. Spriggs got a eye swollen shut, a broken eye socket, 16 stitches across the eyebrow, and a broken nose. Mr. Spriggs' attorney by the name of Todd Hollins says that they will be pressing criminal assault charges. So first things first, though, Combs, would you be the type of person that would be filing for criminal assault charges if you kind of went like let's just be flat out honest. Like I kind of feel like he knew who he was and he kind of went after him. Like, hey, like I know you are a high profile guy. I'm probably going to get my butt kicked, so why not try to go after just a little bit of class?
Yeah, I mean, look, with this guy and Aaron Donald comes off to me as probably one of the nicest human beings you'll ever meet. Like, he seems like he is one of those guys where on the field he's a monster, but off the field he is just, like just one of a very genuine guy.
Right.
And I don't know what happened. I mean, did this guy see Aaron Donald and be like, oh yeah, payday, and go up and just bump him and start something? I mean, who knows? Who knows what the situation is? Maybe Aaron Donald isn't the guy that I think he is. Maybe Aaron Donald did start it and throw some, some shade his way or whatever the case is. But again, why do you continue to put yourself in a situation? Why? Why are you at the Boom Boom Room? I love that name. Why are you at the Boom Boom Room after 2 a.m.? And I get it. Look, you have the right to go do whatever you want. You're a grown man.
You are.
You can live your life however you want. But I'm telling you right now, if I am a multi-million-dollar athlete, one of probably the best defensive end in football right now,
probably the best player in the NFL. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, there is no way that I'm putting myself in that situation. I don't care. It's not about. It's not about can I control myself. It's not about, am I afraid of what I'm going to. It's the what if.
Yeah.
What if I'm out after 2 a.m. and there's some idiot out there with a camera and knows he's going to get a payday if he gets a reaction and he's going to try to draw one anyway. Like, there is nothing good that's going to happen there after 2 a.m. There's nothing good that's going to happen there, period, because unless you are renting the place out, and that's the other, like, if you're going to be at the Boom Boom Room after 2 a.m., why don't you just rent the place out for you and your friends?
Yeah.
Like that, you've got plenty of money. Why not just do that? Because that's what I would do. I'd be like, hey, look, we're just going to rent the place out for the night. It's going to be me. I'm going to bring 100 of my friends and family, and we're going to have a good time. Like, because you're not putting yourself in a situation. It just shows... It's bad, especially in today's day and age. I mean, look, we live in a very cancel culture happy world right now. Like, I can't believe half the stuff I'm watching on the news anymore, and the stuff that they're saying, oh, well, this person did this, and oh, we should feel bad for this person because of this situation. And I'm just like, yeah, not really. Like, you're throwing things in there that aren't in there. And this is one of those things where I just don't know what to think. I think where I blame Aaron Donald without knowing any of the facts is that he put himself in this situation.
Yeah. So, like being Aaron Donald's probably 26 to 27 years old, right? So he's at the height of his popularity right now, and I can call him. I want to go on the record and I can say. I agree with you. As a 30-plus-year-old male, if I had that kind of money, I'm going to rent the place out and just have a grand old time. But if I wanted to do that, why just not have a party like at my house too? It would save me some few dollars and just have people come over to the house.
Maybe you want to get out of the house. I mean, look, COVID's kept everybody in the house. I understand wanting to get out. I mean, hell, I haven't been to a bar in over a year. And I like going and hanging out with my friends and shooting pool and throwing darts and doing that type of stuff. To me, that's fun. But you can't put yourself in that situation. The difference between Aaron Donald going to a bar with his friends and me going to a bar with my friends is that if somebody sues me, all they're getting is a large amount of debt.
Right.
if they sue Aaron Donald, they're making millions of dollars. That's the big difference. And me personally, I would not put myself in that situation. And that's right now, that is the blame that I give Aaron Donald is, even if this isn't true, you put yourself in a situation for your name to be out there. And you just need to be smarter than that. And that's for all athletes. It's not just Aaron Donald. Yeah. All athletes need to be smarter than that. I mean, look at what's going on with the Deshaun Watson thing. I mean, now, they said, I think 1 or 2 of the girls dropped their suits. The rest of them were okay with putting their name out there. And, he's caught up in something where we don't know whether or not it's true, but whether or not it is true, you put yourself in that situation. And you got to be smarter than that.
Yeah, and then I want to give the advice to what my uncles gave me long ago. If you are going to be making millions and millions of the dollars, you pay somebody, aka your uncles, to basically keep a guy around as a fall guy. So if somebody jumps up in your face, my uncles would jump in and take care of that. So
Tori Anderson says, "Hey, that guy bumped into him. He deserved it." Sarcasm.
No, but seriously, like at some point, you just got to be the big person. Hey, my bad. But
Stacy chimes in and says, "I always get in on the craziest parts of the show. Boom Boom Room." And then Drew chimes in and says, "Now serving French toast in the Boom Boom Room."
Alrighty, guys. So we are on that note, we are going to take a quick little break. On the other side of the break, we are going to talk a couple Cy Youngs winners going head to head last night, and Shane Bieber and Lucas Gattiato. They were pitching very, very well last night. We're going to talk some COVID and Giolito. That's what I said. It wasn't
Lido. You said Gallardo.
Whatever. And then we're going to talk some NFL preseason voluntary workouts, and then we're going to talk another #MeToo situation. Justine Paradise versus Jake Paul. Jake Taylor is the catcher from minor league that I was thinking of. I was watching that movie today. Really good movie, by the way. But guys, all that and much more coming up here on the Man Hour. We'll be right back right after this. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeyes along with Brandon Combs. Head over to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page. And, of course, if you're going to miss any part of the show whatsoever, you can go to iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, download the podcast form, Simply Church Man Hour Sports Talk, or you can find us on youtube.com/Man Hour as well. As Combs tries to bring it together, as the comment section always goes left, and sometimes we don't ever have to address it, but we do bring it up on screen just so we let you guys know we do see everything that you guys say, unfortunately.
Nana
very, very unfortunately.
I love Nana.
Yes, she's a great human being, very, very kind-hearted, and I'm glad to have her a part of Man Hour.
We're going
Nation
out partying when I come down there.
Yeah.
Me, Nana, Buck, and Tori and Wyatt are all going out partying.
Wyatt is going to be scarred for life if that ever happens. Let's just be flat honest with it. So let's leave it with that. But you guys are all more than welcome to come into the house once we are settled in and the new studio is built, and we actually have TVs like on the wall. So you guys are all definitely welcome to come down and have some dinner. Combs said he would cook us some food like on the grill, and then I will make some spaghetti.
Absolutely.
Mix all the sauce
you are barred from ever making spaghetti for anybody ever in your life.
Yeah, Sandy does make the best spaghetti. So Nana will be the DD. We don't need a DD if we're all staying at my house, Nana. So
are
you
we
can
sure
pour
that
back
she's
some
talking about the
whiskeys.
designated driver?
Come on, man. Don't do that too. Don't do that to her. So, Combs, let's go ahead and jump in.
I'm just going based off of her comments. I'm just wondering if that means designated driver.
It definitely does mean designated driver, because Nana would be most responsible for that and definitely be our designated driver if that ever comes down to fruition. But Major League Baseball was dealing last night, or I should say Tuesday night. The Cubs come back and win in dramatic fashion. The Royals threw a guy out at third base to end the game versus the Angels. But the Indians and the White Sox, Combsy.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
So Shane Bieber and Lucas Giolito were just absolutely dealing. Each one had only surrendered 2 hits heading into the 7th inning. Giolito ended up going 7 innings, giving up 3 hits, while Shane Bieber pitched 9 innings, going 3 hits. They went scoreless into the 10th inning before the Cleveland Indians opened it up. But they combined for 19 strikeouts between the two pitchers in their 16 scoreless innings. Look, those are, fun to me. I mean, you can have your bang 'em out back and forth 10 to 8 games, but I think the best games to watch are these pitcher duels, because every pitch is important. Every pitch is, who's going to finally get ahead, who's finally going to break through, who's going to do this, who's going to do that. Unfortunately for the White Sox, the bullpen didn't hold up their end of the bargain in the 10th inning, and the Indians did. And so, it just goes to show that when we talked about Bieber in the preseason, we talked about Lucas Giolito in the preseason, and these are 2 of the best starting pitchers in the game right now, and
easily top 5.
I really like Lucas Giolito and what he's done. I like this young White Sox pitching staff. I like the 0-0 games heading into the 9th inning. I like the 1-0 games. Like when I went to the Cubs game last Wednesday, yes, they lost in extra innings, but that was a 0-0 game headed to the 8th before Kane hit a solo home run, and then Jock Peterson hit a solo home run in the bottom of the 8th, and then they went to extra innings tied at 1. I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
The same Jock Peterson that you were dogging about hitting like 193, right?
And he still struck out more times than games played this year. So,
right. So when these pitching duels happened, we always want to compare Combs, like which pitcher dueled the other pitcher more, who had a better performance. So in your eyes, between these 2 players last night, who had the better performance and why?
I think they both had great performances, but I guess if you have to pick one who had a better performance, it'd be Bieber. Bieber struck out, I believe it was 11, and he went 9 innings. He pitched a complete game. Well, not really a complete game because they went to 10, but he pitched 9 innings, gave up 3 hits, didn't surrender a run. and his team won the game. So I would have to go with Shane Bieber on this one.
Yeah, I saw very few people giving the nod to the other guy simply because I think he went into the 7th inning, but I don't think he recorded an out in the 7th inning, right, Combs? So he technically only got 6 innings credit for pitching wise there. So I mean, obviously Shane.
No, he went 7 full innings.
Did he go 7 full innings? Okay,
yeah,
okay.
He went 7 full. Let me give you the line here. He went. Let's see. It was 7 innings, 3 hits, 2 walks, and 8 strikeouts. And Bieber went 9 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, and 11 strikeouts.
Yeah, so basically by default here, Shane, I mean, you kind of have to give the nod to him just because anytime a pitcher for one can pitch nine innings in this day and age, he obviously is doing well. I mean, heck, even the White Sox guy going into the 7th inning, that's pretty impressive as well. But Shane Bieber, he is on the Jake DeGrom kind of slide here. Like if he was on any other team, he would be top pitcher year in and year out. Like it almost seems like, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the worst part is you get to that bullpen and you never know what's going to happen. So when you have a great outing like that, and then you have to give it up to the bullpen, it's out of your hands. So you feel for a guy like Lucas Giolito who pitched his butt off, and then you get down to then I even feel for the guy, I believe his first name is Mike Foster. And so you give it to Mike Foster, but he inherits runners on second and third, doesn't give up a hit, and his ERA now is 21 because he inherited runners on second and third, doesn't give up a hit, and 2 guys score on whatever doubles or a double and 2 hits, but he doesn't get an ERA, even though he wasn't the guy who put the 2 runners on base doesn't get the ERA. The ERA goes against the guy who allowed them to come in. So
yeah,
it's baseball's a funny game. And but these 2 pitchers, man, Giolito and Bieber pitched their butts off, man.
So let me ask you this question here, just because you are. So first things first, just so the people don't know, you are a baseball purist. Just like you enjoy the game just the way it is. Spoiler alert: I do have some baseball what this coming up here in the what this segment here in about a half hour. But would you rather see a pitching duel going into the 9th inning, like a 0-0 game, 1-0 game, or do you want to see a 9-5 score, a 15-5 score, or in that matter, how about a 15-14 score? Just like a back and forth offensive battle,
I'd
or
rather
a defensive
see the
battle.
1-0 games, and you're not gonna get that out tonight's White Sox Indians games. Yermin Mercedes just hit probably. I bet you that one's gonna come close to 500 feet, if not over 500 feet. The home run he just hit in their game right now. I mean, just crushed it. And this kid's a rookie phenom. But no, I'd rather see the lower scores. I'm a big fan of pitcher duels. I'm a big fan of the 3-2, 4-3 type games, 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, those types of games. The 10-8 games are great, here and there. They're fun to watch, especially if it's your team that's winning, or if they're, if it's back and forth. I love a good comeback. I mean, you've had, I think it was the Cubs a couple years back versus the Braves, and it was like a cold, foggy day or something like that. They could barely see the ball when it got hit in the air. The Cubs fell down. I think it was something like 11-1 and came back to win the game. It was the 6th inning when they were down 11-1 and they came back to win. So, games like that are fun to watch. I'm a big fan of 7-0. Look, the Cubs are horrible right now. So, congratulations, you're beating up on a bad team. Look, the Cubs are not a good baseball team right now, Torrey Anderson.
If you guys are playing the drinking game that I believe Tori was that created here in the chat every time or Tim. So like anytime you talk about your home, like your hometown team, just out of the blue, just go ahead and drink 100%. But Combs, I think I'm with you too. I mean, like me kind of being like that new school baseball fan. I really like the small ball game. Like I like stealing second, bunting a guy over to like third, and kind of manufacturing those runs. But of course, that's what Royals is like all about, is manufacturing the runs, because that's what speed do, right? So give me the low scoring games besides the high scoring games. But if you guys would let us know in the chat here, what kind of baseball game do you prefer? Do you like a low scoring pitcher duel, or do you like a offensive slugfest? Let us know in the chat, and we will address those comments toward the end of the show here. But Combs, let's go ahead and move over to the NFL here. I mean, the draft is 14 days away, and actually 15 days away here. April 29th it is when it officially starts here. But off-season workouts, they do start May. So basically, like as soon as the draft is over, you are basically going to these, quote, voluntary workouts. But everybody knows here, if these voluntary workouts are not voluntary.
481 feet on that home run.
That is a bomb. So,
dude, I can't even see 481 feet, let alone.
Can you even jog 481 feet right
dude,
now?
I can't even jog 4 feet right now.
So the NFL, Combs, you always distract me when I get going. You always distract me. You are killing. Turn the TV off. But
no. That's not happening.
But for those people that don't know what voluntary workout means, it basically means you're going to show up to these practices, or you're going to get fined. Like that's basically what it comes down to. But there are 3 NFL teams that said that they will be foregoing the voluntary offseason workouts. Those teams are the Denver Broncos, Seattle Seahawks, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Detroit Lions and the New England Patriots will make a decision sometime today to basically see if they want to do this off-season workout program or not. If you guys are following us on
players, or are these the teams that are doing it?
These are the full teams, so they aren't going to have any voluntary off-season workout programs with the team. So if you guys are following us over on Facebook, facebook.com/Man Hour Sports Talk, you will see that I posted basically some of what these NFL player associations said, basically saying that they are basically concerned about the whole COVID situation and whatnot here. So the first thing that came to my mind is you guys literally just played a full NFL season. Yes, there's no fans in the stands. They were kind of in a bubble situation, yada, yada, yada. But you played a full NFL season without a vaccine. But now, all of a sudden, that there's a vaccine out there, you are scared to go to voluntary workout programs. Pump the brakes. What is really going on here? That's the question that I want to raise here. But Combs, what are your first initial thoughts when you heard that these teams will be opting out of voluntary workouts?
I mean, it is what it is. I don't really. I mean, the voluntary workouts are voluntary workouts. I mean, they're involuntarily voluntary, but who cares? Like, I mean, we don't watch it. It's not on TV. It's not a big, to do. It has nothing. Half of these guys could probably skip the preseason workouts, and they could skip the preseason and still be fine for the regulars. Yeah, I have no problems with the teams deciding not to do voluntary workouts. It is what it is. I have more of a problem with what the Buffalo Bills decided to do with their fans. Did you hear about that one?
No.
So they said we're going to have full capacity starting in the fall for our season. But in order to purchase a ticket, you have to prove you've been vaccinated.
I mean, that's probably the New York State law. That's probably not on them, to be honest with you.
That's a HIPAA violation.
How's that a HIPAA violation?
Because I have to reveal medical information to you. How is that not a HIPAA violation?
I mean, yes and no, but if it's like you technically have to reveal your medical situation when you get enrolled in school, right? Like you have to prove that your kids have shots. What's the difference?
Because I'm buying tickets to a football game.
Well, then
I'm not sending my kid to school.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, then if you're concerned about it, then don't go. I mean, that's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's silly. I think it's one of those things where they're like, oh, if you want to go to a game, you've got to get vaccinated. Not only that, but I mean, hell, they just put one of the vaccinations on hold because of issues that they're having with it. So do you blame people for not wanting to get vaccinated? Do you blame people for not wanting to go do the things that they're doing because of the side effects or because they just don't believe in it? Like, I mean, I've said I'll go get vaccinated just because if it'll make it so we don't have to wear masks, whatever, I'll do whatever we got to do. But if I don't get the flu shot, so I wouldn't have gotten this shot just because I don't believe it's that big of a deal. So if everybody else is vaccinated and everybody else has this thing, why do I need to get it?
Yeah, I mean, true, but so first things first, I am playing devil's advocate, Combs. I'm on your side 100%. The only reason why I am even considering getting the vaccine is for three things here: 1, to make my wife happy; 2, to make my wife happy; and 3, to make my wife happy. So just so that is out there, I am doing the only reason why I'm considering it is to make my wife happy 3 times over. But with all that being said, there are side effects.
She's still not happy.
Yeah, she would definitely not be happy until I get 15 of those shots. No, I'm totally kidding. She's a great human being. But with that being said, making something a requirement, it's kind of bogus to me 100%. Just because we live in a world where there's anti-vaxxers, right? Like, we basically eradicated the chickenpox. We eradicated some other the older generation. I don't want to point you guys out, but my mom has that circle, just like on her arm where she got 15 shots in one. That was what was that for? Do you remember?
That's
Holmes?
That's a TB test, right? Tuberculosis.
Yeah, was it the tuberculosis? But
I believe so.
But either way, they put a vaccine out there to eradicate that. So so if they're making it mandatory, why don't we just listen? Just kind of trust the process a tad bit there. Yes, the biggest problem that I have with the whole COVID vaccine is that it was pushed out way too fast. Let's be flat out honest. Let's flash back to the Trump administration here. People said there is no way we're going to have a vaccine by January, right? Well, Trump made it happen. So with that being said, why were they saying, there is no way it could happen, but all of a sudden when Biden takes office, it's it is here.
It's crazy. And then Tori says, so if you wash your hands and we are eating the same appetizer basket, why should I wash my hands? Yours are clean. Saying, why should I have to get the vaccine?
That's a great point.
I get what you're saying, but I just don't understand some of these things that they're doing. Let's take my stepdaughter's volleyball, per se. She goes to volleyball. All the players have to wear their mask, right? While they're on the court. But they're all hitting the same sweaty ball. So
you're right.
And not only that, but then you hear there's just so many different things. I don't get it. I think that there's whatever it is, what it is. The numbers are what they are, and we're all going to have to get the vaccine in order to do anything. You're going to need it to go to work. You're going to need it to go to school. You're going to need it to apparently buy football tickets. So we're all just going to have to suck it up, get the shot, and prove that we have it if we want to leave our house at some point.
Yeah. So Cindy and I are going on vacation for our anniversary here in June, and to even to buy airline tickets, we had to prove that we're getting vaccinated or got the vaccination. So
Nana says that shot from your mom is polio. Yep. She said she had that scarlet too.
Yeah. So obviously polio is a little different than COVID. I don't know exactly what polio was, but it was I think it paralyzed you, right, Combs, or something like that. It was
I think so. I think it. I mean, there were a lot of bad effects with polio, and there were a lot of, look, we've come a long way from where we were when polio was an issue, and we've come a long way from where we were when mad cow disease became an issue, and all of this other stuff. I just feel like it is somebody's right to do whatever they need to do. Like me, myself, like Michelle said, I should go get the shot to make her happy. Well, joke's on her. I'm just not eligible yet. Like, I'm on the waiting list. I'm just not eligible. I'm not important enough to go get vaccinated, which is another thing that I find very, very silly.
Aren't you 40 now? You used to be eligible for like everything, like your AARP card, your getting dinner at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, that's the other thing that I find interesting is that I get it. There are people who are more susceptible to it, but if the whole goal is to get everybody to go get a shot, why don't you just make it eligible for everybody? And if you get a spot, you get a spot, and if you don't, you don't. But the next person gets in line. I get that there are other people that need it more than other people. I understand that. But what you're telling me in that point is that this thing is so deadly, and I'm putting up air quotes for those of you listening on the radio. This thing is so deadly that if you get it, you're at real risk, and this or that can happen. You don't know, you could end up with this or that.
Yeah.
So what you're telling me is that just because I'm healthy and I don't have any underlying conditions, that my life isn't as valuable as somebody else's, so they need to get vaccinated first.
Yeah, I mean, like if you want to think logically here, shouldn't the healthy people get vaccinated first so the strong don't get weeded off?
Dude, I don't know, man. We've gone off track. Like this, I get so frustrated talking about this stuff because I really want to go off, but that's not what this show is about. So
well, see, Combs, what is so special about the Man Hour is we mix real life in with sports, and COVID has been a real life issue now for a almost a year and a half, because it started over in China back in November of 2019.
How about the 40,000 cases that they found of people dying by COVID that were admitted to the hospital with life-threatening bullet or knife wounds? But they died because of COVID because, the COVID enhanced the wound, apparently.
Well, do you want to know the real reason why they died because of COVID? This is coming...
in the hospital.
This is coming straight from a hospital executive. I'm going to keep them nameless. The hospital nameless, just like as well. But they got $30,000 extra for every COVID death that they had during the quote pandemic time. So, and every time somebody got put on a ventilator, it was like an extra $50,000. So,
I mean, anytime you give people more money to do something, they're going to do it. Look, if you told me that if I contracted COVID, you would give me an extra $50,000, I'd be out there at grocery stores licking cans. Like I'd see somebody pick up a can and put it back on the shelf. I'd go lick it. Can I get tested now?
You are ridiculous on that aspect of it. Wow. So, but let's go ahead and make this full circle here. Those 3 or 4 NFL teams that are decided to opt out of these quote voluntary workouts. Do you think they're going to have a bad season because they're not doing the voluntary workouts for like their new rookies and whatnot?
A lot of these guys don't do the voluntary workouts anyway, except for the rookies and the guys who are trying to fight for a spot. So, no, I don't think they're going to have a bad season just because of that. I don't think that they're going to have. I don't think it's going to change anything not having the workouts. I don't. These guys have, and we said this last night when we asked about, did basketball start up too soon and all that. These guys have the best trainers in the world. These guys are working out even when they're at home. These guys have gyms in their basement. So anything that they could be doing on the field, they can do at home. So no, it doesn't change anything.
All right, guys. So we're going to end that right here. We are up against our next break here. If you missed any part of the show whatsoever, head to iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio. You can download us on podcast form, or you can listen to the clips over at youtube.com/Man Hour. The clips are uploaded every day at 8 a.m., 11 a.m., 2 p.m., and 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. So you guys can head over there to youtube.com/Man Hour and hit that subscribe button. It'd be great. But Combs, on the other side of the break, we got who's hot and who's not. Major League Baseball edition. I'm sure the Cubs are going to fall in there, and the Red Sox are going to fall in there as well. But we'll see, guys, who is hot and who's not. Coming up here on the Man Hour here right after the break. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeye along with Brandon Combs here. Head over to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page and the blog section as well. But the most key right here, guys, is head over to youtube.com/Man Hour. And right now, if you're watching the live feed right here, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button along with the bell. Because starting next Sunday night, Combs, I believe it's April 18th is that particular day, you can become a member right there on the YouTube page. It gets from 99 cents to $9.99. So we have 4 different levels there. So you can get a hoodie every year for life if you sign up for the $9.99 package there, Combs. I mean, I love me some hoodies. I'm going to eat that up 100%. Wow, like me. It's
I'm all
great. Too. Yeah, I mean, you can literally find me in a Man Hour hoodie every day of the week if I was allowed to. So let's just
hats and jerseys is what I have. Everything. Like I love wearing hoodies, hats, and jerseys.
Yeah, and also, guys, if you guys ever have any ideas for any merchandise whatsoever, you can hit us up on Twitter at manhour_Buck, manhour_Combs, and Combs, I know where you're going because Drew hit me up on the old Twitter machine too. So should we kind of keep that but between us and kind of surprise, or
we're gonna make this happen?
Okay, so
we're making this happen.
So Drew, we are going to make your merchandise happen here. So silhouette, just think of a silhouette of a cheese head, and we'll just leave it at that. So, but yeah, we're definitely going to fine tune some stuff over there on the merchandise page. So if you have any ideas, guys, let us know. But Combs, it is that special time of night where we give you the spotlight because you watch 516 baseball games a season, and you know who is hot and who is not. So first things first, man, let us know who is hot.
All right, so first things first is the Boston Red Sox right now, man. 8 straight wins after starting out the season 0-3, getting swept by the Orioles. Everybody was like, "Man, what happened with the Red Sox? I thought they were going to be, okay in this American League East." They have not lost since. They are now 8-3. They are top of the AL East. Won again today. This team is just on fire right now, and they just play different for Alex Cora. They just do. This team might be one of those teams that, we talked about the Cincinnati Reds yesterday. This might be the other team that comes out of nowhere and makes a run at this division that we just didn't see coming. Because right now, you look at the American League East, and the American League East is not, full of front runners. So you've got the Red Sox. I'm sorry, they are 9-3 now. They've won 9 straight because they won today, not 8 straight. I misspoke.
Yeah, they played a doubleheader today.
Yeah, and so the Blue Jays are 6-6, the Orioles are 5-6, the Rays are 5-6, and the Yankees are 5-7. So right now, the Red Sox are sitting atop with a 3-game lead in this division. And I know it's early, but this team right now is hot.
Well, I mean, it can be early as you want, but we were talking about the Reds just yesterday because we do have some Red fans like just like in the chat here. But looking at their schedule columns moving forward, we were talking about like tough stretches for like the Cubs and like the Royals and like teams like that. This team doesn't really have too much of a rough stretch coming up here. Yes, they do play a White Sox and possibly a AL Central Division champion there, but they aren't that great. They only play 2 games versus the Blue Jays. But like then they had the Mariners, the Mets, another 2-game series, and then the Rangers, the Tigers, and then the O's. I mean, they kind of have a kind of gravy next 4 weeks. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, those 4 games versus the White Sox is going to be a really good series. I'm very interested to see that. The pitching matchups are really nice. You do get to see Eovaldi versus Rodon, Perez versus Giolito, and Pivetta versus Cease. So right. I do like those pitching matchups between the Red Sox and White Sox. So that'll be a fun series to watch. And then that series versus Toronto, depending on what goes on against the White Sox, that series versus Toronto could be a swing in that division, seeing as how Toronto's the one sitting behind them, 3 games behind them. I really, after that, you're right. They've got Seattle, New York, and Texas, and Detroit, and Baltimore. So they've got a really pretty cake schedule, minus the next 6 games.
Right.
And so, let's see how they do. Let's see how they come out of these next 6 games, and we'll go from there. But after that, those 6 games, they do really have a cakewalk.
Yeah, but then like as we have a cakewalk, there's always that stumbling point a part of the season, and like this is the part of the season that I have circled for them. This is the May 11th. They play a series with the A's, then they play the Angels, and then the Blue Jays, the Phillies, Braves, and then they kind of have an easy game versus the Marlins here. But then they have Houston, Yankees, Houston. I mean, it's
again. Yeah.
It does get pretty tough toward the month of May, but that is a month away. So right now, the Red Sox
if you
are
finish
hot.
out April, and you finish out April, I don't know what you figure 6, 9, 12, 15. So if they finish out these last 20 games or so in April, and they finish these out at 15-5. I mean, they're looking at a 24 and 8 start, and that's pretty good start in this division.
Yeah. I mean, like anytime you can build a gap in any division early, it's always positive here.
Yeah.
Red Sox are hot. Who else is hot?
The Milwaukee Brewers starting rotation. Yes, Torrey Anderson. I'm talking about your Milwaukee Brewers. They've gone 8 straight games with their starters of 6 innings pitched and 1 or less runs. I mean, that's fire right now. And they've beaten up on my Cubbies. They've come to play. I mean, granted, 6 of those 8 games were against the Cubs, so they've had taken advantage of playing the Cubs, who are just not hitting right now. I mean, let's just call it what it is. I mean, the Cubs are atrocious at the plate right now. We'll talk about them here in a little bit, but the Milwaukee Brewers starting pitchers, I mean, that's still 8 straight games of 6 innings pitched and 1 or less runs. You're going to win a lot of ball games doing that.
Yeah, and like I know we had a interview with Tim yesterday here on the air, and he said as a player they don't really know who they play from day to day, like until they like go into the clubhouse. But Combs, as a fan here, you guys are playing the Chicago, you guys are playing, the Brewers are playing the Chicago Cubs 9 times in the month of April. So in a 3-week span, you are playing each other 9 times. As a fan, are you getting tired of playing the Brewers because you're just getting beat, or just tired because, they're playing the same team over and over and over?
I'm just getting tired of watching the Cubs be horrendous. I really don't. I actually like the rivalry games, so I like seeing them play the Brewers.
Right.
I like seeing them play the Cubs. I hate seeing them lose those games, but you've got to beat these teams to win the division. So, no, I don't mind watching them play them. You play 19 times a year, so you play them a bunch at the beginning and then a bunch at the end. You don't see them too much during the middle of the season. So,
right, and just looking at the Brewers' schedule moving forward, they do have a weekend series versus the Pirates. They should sweep them, honestly, but then they travel to San Diego to take on the Padres. Is that series when we see the Brewers maybe come back down to earth and not be so hot and kind of maybe fall into the who's not hot segment next week?
I think that series with San Diego will really tell them where they stand amongst, the best in baseball. I mean, let's face it. So far, they've beat up on the Twins. Actually, they lost 2 out of 3 to the Twins, so I take that back. But then they won 2 out of 3 versus the Cubs. They won 2 out of 3 versus St. Louis and won 2 out of 3 versus the Cubs again. So they haven't really played really any tough competition, because I've already told you the Cubs are not tough competition right now, and the Cardinals aren't really tough competition right now. And then you get to Pittsburgh, and then San Diego will tell them where they stand. But then after that they get the Cubs again, and then Miami before they have to play the Dodgers and the Phillies. So
yeah. So
these next couple of weeks will really tell the Brewers where they stand.
So you have the Red Sox and the Milwaukee Brewers both as hot right now. Who is your last hot person/team moving forward to the weekend?
The Dodgers offense, man. The Dodgers offense is just clicking right now. It's led them to a 9-2 record to start the season. They've outscored their opponents by 30 runs. I mean, they are just beating the hell out of teams in their first 11 games. And so you look at what the Dodgers have done, and to outscore your opponent, period, in an 11-game stretch by 30 runs, I don't care who you're playing, that's pretty good. Right. But the Dodgers have played some really good competition so far this season. I mean, you play the Colorado Rockies, you played the Oakland A's, you played the Washington Nationals, you're playing the Rockies again. Then you get the Padres this weekend, and then the Mariners, and then the Padres again, and then the Cincinnati Reds and the Milwaukee Brewers. So, they've got a tough couple weeks coming up. The Reds have been playing really well. The Padres are the Padres. I mean, I can't wait to watch this series this weekend. This series between the Padres and the Dodgers is going to be very fun to watch, because these two teams are both very good and they are fighting for the division. So I'd really like to see what happens with the Dodgers over the next week, because you're playing the Padres twice in the next week.
Yeah, I can tell you that I will not be watching that Friday night game of the Dodgers versus the Padres, because at 10 o'clock start time's a little past my bedtime. I'm going to be flat out honest here on a Friday night. But
what do you mean? Just what do you do?
What do you mean?
Is you give River like some sugar, like some pixie sticks. So he stays awake, and you're like, Cindy, look, he just won't go to bed. I'm just going to stay up with him. Then what you do is, after Cindy falls asleep, okay, then you put a little bit of Jameson on like a whatever. Is he drinking out a sippy cup or a bottle right now?
He drinks straight out of the Mountain Dew can. Don't fist it.
So you get him that Mountain Dew can, and you put a little bit of Jameson in it, mix it up just a little bit, and you get him to pass out, and then boom, you've got Dodgers Padres to watch.
And then
boom,
you
can sleep in, because you can tell Cindy that you were up with the kid late.
Okay, so rule number 1 is Cindy works the weekend, so that's not going to work.
Oh, yeah.
Rule number 2: no matter what time that kid goes to bed, he can go to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning. Soon as the sun hits as soon as he sees that sun, he is up, ready to go.
You've got the MLB at Bat app, right?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, so
I will watch the condensed game in 7 minutes.
Saturday morning,
100%.
8 minutes, watch the game.
Bada bing, bada boom. So So you have the let me pull back up here. I'm sorry. You have the Red Sox, Brewers, and the Dodgers all on your hot list. The one team that actually showed up a lot on these team schedules moving forward was the San Diego Padres. So therefore, the San Diego Padres probably have the biggest stretch of games in all of Major League Baseball here in the next couple weeks. So if you are a Padres fan, buckle up for some great baseball there, 100%. But Colbs, you gave me who is hot, but right now, man, who is not?
Yeah. I mean, look, Chicago Cubs. They're tied for the least amount of hits through 12 games in baseball history. They are tied with that Detroit Tigers team, who I believe lost 110 games about 12 years ago. So, yeah, they are swinging the bats terribly. They are swinging at pitches outside of the zone. I see a lot of fly. That's what bugs me the most as a fan. If I can watch your at bat and pick out why you are having troubles right now, why can't you, or why can't your coach? Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm watching Javier Baez, and I'm watching Jock Peterson, and I'm watching their swings, and they're just trying to pull everything. They're trying to pull a pitch that's 6 inches outside. First of all, you shouldn't be swinging at a pitch that's 6 inches outside, let alone trying to pull the ball. Like, use all fields. I don't understand what they're doing, and that's why they're not hitting well right now, and it's driving me nuts, because I would love to just drive down to Wrigley and be like, guys, can I please have 2 hours of your time so I can get you guys out of this funk? Because I know what's going on. I'm watching your at-bats. I know what you're doing wrong. But you're not fixing it, and it's driving me nuts.
So, Combs, we have all been in that situation like in life where, like, we have just been in a rut and we can't get out of it. And no matter how hard you try, it gets worse and worse and worse, right? So for example, when like you're playing slow pitch softball and you just aren't hitting the ball well, you start to like stress out, you start to tense up. What do? You go to the parking lot, you drink a couple beers, you loosen up, you're like, oh, I'm just like whatever happens out, right? Like, and then you go 6 for 6, right? So maybe that is just what the Cubs need to do when they play the Braves and the Mets, this weekend series, and then the early series, and again in the early series next week. Maybe they need to like shuffle. They just need to shuffle up the lineup. Maybe move. Yeah, just shuffle up. Just draw. What they need to do is they need to figure the hell out. Who they are. They need to make some moves. This team has done nothing to improve themselves since 2016. They've done nothing. Drink, boys.
This team just needs. We're talking about it because it's a who's hot and who's not.
But you're referring back to 2016. Back in 2016, we were hitting the ball really well. It's 5 years have passed, Combs. You are now 40. You are no longer 35.
Wyatt Williams says, guess who's here? Well, we're leaving you backstage till we're done, Wyatt. Anyway.
Yeah, so moving on to the next one, who is not hot?
Oh, God. The Colorado Rockies. Worst record in baseball at 3-8. They are horrible. And, I mean, they've had kind of a tough schedule here in the early going, but they are just... They're atrocious, man. They are not playing good baseball right now. They're not quite hitting as poorly as the Cubs are, but 3-8. I mean, you've played the Dodgers for 4, but Arizona's a very beatable team, and I mean, you're giving up 10 runs to Arizona, then you go and you get swept by San Francisco. They're just not hot. They're horrible right now.
Yeah, man, and then playing the Dodgers and the Mets and the Astros and Phillies, I mean, their schedule does not give them any room to breathe at all. It's like if I was a Rockies fan right now, I'd be very, very frustrated, because it doesn't really get easy. And heck, maybe when it starts to get easy, oh nope, you pay Padres back to back, almost. Yeah. So I mean, it is just so. Rockies fans, buckle up for a rough season. What it's looking like, right, Combs?
Yeah, absolutely.
So moving on to our last one, who is not hot? You had given us the Chicago Cubs and the Colorado Rockies. Who's your last team?
The Oakland A's. The Oakland A's are a team where I said at the beginning of the year, you watch this team and every year you pick against them and you don't expect them to be good, and they're going to have to prove me that they're not good before I count them out again, because they always find a way to win 80 to 90 games. But this team so far has been outscored by 26 runs, which is the worst differential in all of baseball. They are just getting beat, and they're getting beat good. They are right now the redheaded stepchild of baseball, because they are just getting their butts whooped all over the place. So that is my last team who is not hot.
Yeah, so just to recap here, the three teams that you have who is hot, you have the Boston Red Sox. They have won 8 straight. The Milwaukee Brewers starting pitching. They have won 8 straight games as well, and 6 innings of pitch with 1 run or less. And then the Dodgers offense, they are 9-2 to start the season. They've outscored their opponents by 30 runs. And who is not high is your Chicago Cubs. They're just batting horrible right now. I believe you said it was the least amount of hits through any stretch of a 12-game period since 1902, right? Isn't that what you said like last night? So absolutely historically
and I know
bad
people
right
are
now.
Gonna, and especially Tori is going to come at me and be like, oh, but they've won 4 straight, the Oakland A's have. Well, they started out this season 0-7. So I'm glad that they're winning a couple games here and there now, but they just beat Arizona twice, which I've already talked about how bad Arizona is. They did take 2 out of 3 from Houston, and they did win that final one against the Dodgers in LA. But I mean, they've lost 8-1, 9-5, 9-1, 9-2, 10-3. Like, they are giving up a ton of runs right now. So that is why I have them in not hot.
All right, guys, so that is who is hot and who is not. Brought to you by Thrive Fantasy. Head over to thrivefantasy.com. Use promo code MANHOUR, and they'll match up to $50 on your first deposit. But on the other side of the break, we have the infamous What Does. So buckle up, get prepared for that as we welcome Wyatt Williams back on the show here, as he is here for hour number 2 on the Man Hour. Man Hour Nation, we'll be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeyes along with Brandon Combs and Wyatt Williams will be joining us here on hour number 2. But it is that special time of night, special time of week, where we have the world infamous What Does. The What Does is basically a segment where we just let everything out, guys. We let stuff that has been brewing us for like all week, sports related, personal relationships, whatever. We let it out in the What The segment. So let's buckle up. Let's enjoy the ride. So guys, if you are watching us on youtube.com/Man Hour, If you have a what that you like to share, put it there in the comment, and at the end of the segment, we will bring it up. All right, boys. So, are you ready for the world infamous what does?
I'm always ready.
I'm ready.
Why? By the way,
welcome to the show, buddy.
Yeah, I forgot to welcome you properly.
What's up, guys? Glad to be here.
Hey.
Oh, see, as we already muted him, and because we don't really care how you're doing, why? No, I'm done. I'm totally kidding. I'm glad you're here.
You were announcing the track meet last night, and Nana said that she had her windows open because it was nice outside, and she could hear you through her windows at her house.
Yeah. She texted me and she was like, because she lives probably about a half mile, if that, away from the stadium that I was at doing the PA with, and she texted me and was like, I can hear you outside of my house right now.
She also said that she never heard Man Hour mentioned one time during the track meet.
Hey, I wore my Man Hour shirt yesterday for everybody at the track meet to see at school and everything.
All right,
you know what else she said, Wyatt?
What?
When we were talking about Aaron Donald at the Boom Boom Room, she said that's where she makes.
And Combs, we're going to go ahead and mute you right there because we're not going to spoil it, man. So let's go and get to the what does. All right, guys, that's going to be it for the What Does for the night. I feel a little bit of a tension between Combs and White here since you guys are doing the What Does at each other like all night long.
Can you explain to the youngin what the What Does are about? Because he apparently didn't hear your intro to it
all week, man. Like, it doesn't have to be like.
Does that have to be sports? That's life.
That's what's so special about the Man Hour, Wyatt, is we can put powdered sugar on top of the French toast and call it a meal. That's just the way it is, man.
I love French toast.
I do.
Oh my God.
I do too.
Nana
especially when it's filled.
I used to like French toast. I don't anymore now.
All right, guys, we are going to take a quick little break. On the other side of the break, we are going to get back into sports talk. We're going to talk a little NBA playoffs. We are going to talk a little Trevor Lawrence, and Steph Curry breaks the all-time point record on Tuesday night as a Golden State Warrior. So all that and much more, guys, coming up here on the Man Hour. We'll be right back.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeyes along with Brandon Combs and Wyatt Williams. You can find us all at Man Hour _Buck, Man Hour _Combs, and Man Hour _TWW. That is the Wyatt Williams. If you missed any part of the show whatsoever, you can.
Tori.
Yeah, and you can find Tori as well, Man Hour _Tori. So again, if you guys have missed any part of the show whatsoever, you can download us on iTunes, Spotify, or iHeartRadio as well. Or most importantly, go over to youtube.com/Man Hour and hit that subscribe button, as we do upload the segments over there each and every day throughout the day from the past night's show. So, Wyatt, you are a basketball connoisseur. Your heart and soul is in basketball. And so the NBA playoffs is just right around the corner. And this year they're doing the playoffs a little bit different. Basically, they are trying to do what March Madness does and like kind of have these play-in games. So basically what it comes down to is the 7th seed will play the 8th seed, and the winner of that will ultimately have the 7th seed. The 10th seed will play the 9th seed, and the winner of that will play the loser of the 7th of the 8th seed, and then the winner of that will get the 8th seed. So basically, the 10th place team right now, I believe, is the Dallas Mavericks in like one division there. They could in return be as high as 8th seed going into the playoffs, when like right now they're on the outside looking in. So why I'm going to kick it to you first, because you are like Combs, like you are a baseball or like you are a basketball enthusiast. Is this play-in tournament to even get into the playoffs a good idea for NBA basketball?
A lot of guys have really been criticizing it, but I kind of like it. I think it gives, in a sense, of course it's not March Madness. It'll never be March Madness. So don't take me the wrong way when I say it. But it kind of gives off that in a way. You can have a team that was a 10th seed, make it in as an 8th seed. I mean, it gives for that opportunity. So, it isn't March Madness, but it kind of gives you that upset opportunity. So in a sense, I kind of like that. Now, I understand that a lot of players have been criticizing it heavily and they don't like it. Do you know why those players don't like it? Because they're the teams that are in the 8 or in the 7 seed, and they're now not guaranteed in. They got to play their way in. Right. If you are so worried about it, then why not be a 6 through 1 seed? Why not win more? Stop crying about it. Once again, it kind of goes back to the point of, these guys just want it easy and to scoot in the best that they can. And if you want it to be easy and you just want to scoot in without playing a play-in tournament, win more games.
So you are all for the so you are all for the extra 3 games to get into the playoffs, right? You are 100% on board with it. Yeah. Combs, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm kind of, I'm kind of in the middle. Like I really don't care either way. I mean, it's just more basketball that I won't watch. So it's just, I'm kind of caught in the middle. So how does it work? Is it a series, or are these one and done?
It is a one and done. Yep.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I mean, especially if it's a one and done, you're not adding an extra series. You're just adding a play-in game. I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Yeah. So the one thing that
like a conference tournament. Sorry, Buck. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. You're 100% correct there. Like the one thing that I do like, it is a 1 game playout, like it is just a 1 game period. Like it is not a 3 game series or a 5 game series or like even a 7 game series.
If it was a 7 game series, that'd be annoying.
Yeah, so this is kind of what makes it compelling to me a tad bit, is because you could in theory have a 10 seed go all the way up to the 8th seed, like basically be out of the playoffs 100%, play 2 games and become an 8th seed, and then they're in that playoff mindset there, so they could easily upset the number 1 seed. Now, I don't know how many times a 8 seed has beat a number 1 seed in the NBA playoffs.
I believe it's only twice. I'll check, but I believe it's only once or twice.
Yeah, I mean, like I can think of one time only off the top of my head, but I mean, this kind of makes it more must-watch TV a tad bit, just because like we don't have to wait till game 4 to like really find out a winner type of thing. So, but just like what you said, Wyatt, the teams that are really complaining are the teams that have. So that are basically like the teams that are kind of like on that bubble of like 7 through like 10 there, and basically what you're saying is if you don't want to play that game, do better in the regular season. Combs has said that I mean, we see it like people don't give full effort during the regular season. So is the NBA trying to put more stock into the regular season by making this happen, Wyatt?
I think, yeah. I mean, I think in a little bit, I think it takes away some of that tanking mindset because those teams that are like kind of that middle ground of, your 10 to 12, somewhere in there that normally don't make the playoffs, or your 9 to 12, your 9 to 12 that normally don't make the playoffs, now in a sense have a competing spot to get it. So that makes your April more interesting. Guys fight for it more. You see more competitive basketball. The other thing that I kind of like about it is it rewards those runs, the guys who have those late season runs. So, like last year in the bubble, the Suns went 8-0. They didn't lose a game in the entire bubble, but they still missed the playoffs in the bubble because the teams above them hadn't lost enough games. I think that's why they added it on, honestly, because the Suns were on a hot streak. They could have entered the playoffs and possibly knocked off a higher seed, no matter who that was or where that landed.
They're the 2 seed this year, right, in the Western Conference?
Yes. So they added Chris Paul, and they've really turned everything around. But so I kind of like it in a way too, because it lets those late season runs, kind of jump up a little bit, and it makes the 1 seeds not sit. You won't see teams that are sitting in the 1 seed. Like right now, I believe it is the Utah Jazz in the West are the 1 seed, correct? And then the 1 seed in the East is Philadelphia, right?
Yeah, I think they're tied. Like the Nets and Philly are kind of like tied right there for 1 and 2 out west.
But it also makes those teams like that, not be so lazy toward the end of the year. Guys won't sit. They would need to keep their bodies ready because when they play that first game of the 7-game series in the beginning of the playoffs, a team that they're playing has already played 2 games. They're ready to go. They're locked and loaded. So I think in a sense it kind of adds to that too. It makes these teams have to compete more. It's the NBA kind of making the regular season more interesting at the end is essentially what it is. And once again, this is another one of the many reasons why I love Adam Silver, and I think he is the best commissioner in all pro sports right now. I don't think it's close. He does things like this to spice up situations. He listens to the fans. And does his best.
Time out there. Pause and time out there. He is 100% copying the NFL. 100%. They added an extra team into the playoffs just so teams are not sitting week 15, 16, 17.
Name a commissioner who's better than Adam Silver.
Name a commissioner better.
Roger Goodell.
No. Hiding evidence. Rob Manfred doesn't even know what a baseball is, I don't think.
It doesn't matter.
Roger Goodell. Manfred's the worst of any commissioner in the history of commissioners. And Roger Goodell has a god complex that just he's
Adam Silver
horrible.
just bends over and
he's
takes
turned the
it,
NFL into the no fun league. So it's not Roger Goodell, but Adam Silver has done good things for the NBA.
Yeah, Adam Silver listens to his players and listens to the fans, and it's because he spent so much time under David Stern. David Stern is the greatest sports commissioner in my opinion of all time. He saved the NBA.
Yeah,
he did
for sure.
He 100%. The whole frozen envelope theory with Patrick Ewing. I did the conspiracy theory. Have you guys seen that?
Nope.
It's still fixed. I mean, the NBA lottery is still fixed.
Yeah, and it absolutely is. So that way you have teams that are more successful.
Right.
But he sent you 110%. Nobody will ever change my mind. He fixed that. And Stern knew what was best for the NBA, and he sent Patrick Ewing to New York. It's the media capital of the world. Why would you not? And he saved the NBA. Lost so many viewers after the 70s and heading into the 80s because the guys like Larry had kind of died down a little bit. You didn't have those 70s or not 80s, excuse me. The guys like Kareem and all of them had kind of like slowed down a little bit. Your Bill Russells and Wilson all of them had left the league. So the league had seen a decline in viewers. So how did
they repay Patrick Ewing? By making him show his ID 6 times when he's coaching a team in the tournament.
That was Madison Square Garden, though. But that was
what is the big deal about that? No, it's not. It's absolute policy.
It's the house he built. Madison Square Garden.
If you don't know who Patrick Ewing is, you shouldn't be working at Madison Square Garden.
Exactly.
Okay, so hang on, pause there. You want to bring that up? So let's go ahead and stay in the NBA and the owner, the new owner of the Timberwolves. There has been players on say, I don't even know who this guy
Anthony
is.
Edwards, he was the number 1 pick of the draft last year or this year.
So for those people that don't know that what is going on, Alex Rodriguez has purchased the Minnesota Timberwolves, and Anthony Edwards come out and said that he doesn't even know who Alex Rodriguez
is. That was more about shade than it was him actually not knowing who A-Rod. Of course, you know who A-Rod is. The man was engaged to J-Lo. No,
I really think he genuinely didn't.
100% do not believe it. I believe it was shade, and I believe it was a way for him to get J-Lo to get into his DMs.
A 23-year-old going on after J-Lo that's like 60? Come on, man. Come on,
Combs.
J-Lo. It's J-Lo.
Wyatt Williams, you're 18, right?
10 years ago.
You're 18, right? And you love Nikki, so let's say you never met Nikki, and J-Lo comes into your house right now and says, "Hey, Wyatt Williams, I think you're sexy. Will you go out with me?" Would you turn her down because she's in her 60s?
I don't know.
No, you wouldn't. Don't lie. Don't lie. No, you wouldn't.
I really don't. I don't know how she's. I mean, I don't know if she's crazy. I don't know who she is.
Okay, dude. She has been through 7 husbands in 10 years.
Exactly.
I don't think she's ever actually got married. I think she's just been engaged.
But
she collects rings like she is Tom Brady.
Yeah, and she's like 60 years old, so she could be like your grandma's age. So would you date your grandma, Wyatt?
That's different.
That's what it comes down to.
You can't.
That was not different.
You can't say would you date your grandmother or would you date J-Lo? I mean, come on now.
Would you date your grandma's best friend?
If she was J-Lo, yes.
No, you wouldn't. Come on, Combs.
Dude. Yeah, you would.
Combs. That's what happens when you're like 40. Like you're like
you are such a It's because your grandmother's listening. It's because Nikki's listening. If we were talking
I'm telling you.
backstage, or if we were talking on the phone, you'd be like, "You're damn right, I'd date J-Lo." Yeah, you would. You're just scared. You're a scared little kid who won't admit that he would date
J-Lo. On this?
Jennifer Aniston. What about Jennifer Aniston? She's about the same age as J-Lo.
No, I'm not.
Do you not think Jennifer Aniston's hot?
No.
What? You are out of your. My next what the for Wednesday. I got it.
This is how Combs steers a conversation when he doesn't want to talk about NBA. It's like, hey, let's go ahead and talk about J-Lo. So
no, you steered it here because you were talking about this guy not knowing who A-Rod is.
And
of
you're
course
like,
he knows who A-Rod is. He was.
Do you all not know who Anthony Edwards is?
No,
he was the number one pick in the draft this year. He was Joe Burrow of this year.
Great. He was the number one pick in the NBA draft that got rigged so that he would go to wherever he went.
Combs. I don't think he.
First things first, though.
Who they should have rigged it for.
First things first. This kid's probably 20 years old, right? Why? Yeah. He's like 19, 20 years old.
I think he's 21.
Alex Rodriguez hasn't played in the Major League Baseball for at least 10 years, if not longer.
It's been a long time.
I mean, so basically what you're saying is Mr. Combs over there, Mr. Combs, because right now we're not on speaker terms, Combsy. You are telling me that a 10-year-old kid that doesn't play baseball is supposed to know who A-Rod is?
Everybody, yes, because when he was 10 years old, A-Rod was going through the trial of everything in baseball with steroids and everything.
As a 10-year-old, were you watching stuff in like a sport that didn't concern you?
What?
Are you asking me?
No. So Combs, when you were 10 years old, were you watching trials of like players that were in different sports?
No, because when I was 10 years old, they didn't air all of this dirty stuff out there.
Yes,
we didn't.
They had the OJ murders and stuff like that on there. Come on, man.
Yeah, but but that was a different story. Like, I didn't know who Ryan Sandberg was dating at the time. I didn't know who anybody else. Like, it just wasn't the same back when I was 10 years old. And these guys, there's no way this kid did not know who A-Rod is. There's no way.
The only reason why I know A-Rod is because I watched baseball back then.
A-Rod was huge in baseball and such a star, but like, you got to think baseball is not a lot. There's a lot of people out in the world who don't know Mike Trout, and he's the best player in the world.
Yeah.
So, Wyatt, Tori says, I'm dating J-Lo because I want in on that AARP. Nana chimes in and says, two-timer.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
And this is how the show takes a left turn 100% of the time because we go into the comment section here.
Then Nana says the kitchen is closed.
But let's go ahead and jump into some NFL talk here since our draft expert is on the show right now. Trevor Lawrence come out in a podcast quote here just the other day. He said, and I quote, "I am passionate about what I do. It is really important to me, but I do not have a chip on my shoulder. I cannot manufacture that. I do not want to." Wyatt, does having a person on your team that doesn't have like that chip on his shoulder to like be great, does that make you not want to draft him?
No, I don't necessarily think having the chip on your shoulder determines you being good or bad. A guy like Tom Brady, Baker Mayfield, those guys have chip on their shoulders because they were slept on all the time. Trevor Lawrence has been the number one quarterback in the nation for his class since he was in like 6th grade, guys. So he's never had to have that chip on his shoulder. He's always been good. He's always performed well. He's always performed better than everybody else. So he's never had to have that. Where Baker Mayfield, just using Baker as an example, had it was a 3-star in high school, only had, I believe, 2 or 3 offers, I think, something like that. Turned them all down, walked on to Texas Tech, left Texas Tech, walked on to Oklahoma, got himself all the way up to the starter at Oklahoma, won a Heisman. So he's always had that, keep that same energy mindset, and he's always had that chip on his shoulder. Tom Brady, didn't start hardly at all at Michigan. And then, he was the 199th pick in the NFL draft. Turns out he's the GOAT. So, when you look at guys like that, they have that chip on their shoulder. But whenever you look at guys like Trevor Lawrence, I don't think it hasn't affected his play yet. Would you like to have a guy that has a chip on his shoulder in a sense? I think it's good and bad, because I think in that sense, when you have a guy who has a chip on his shoulder, he spends more time talking about that chip on his shoulder than he actually does proving that chip on his shoulder. Tom Brady and Baker Mayfield are perfect examples of that. You don't hear Tom Brady every 10 seconds talking about the chip on his shoulder and how, he was overlooked in high school and he was actually going to be a baseball player and then switched. But you hear Baker Mayfield talking, not throwing any shade at Baker Mayfield. I think Baker Mayfield's a really good quarterback, but you hear Baker Mayfield talk about it a lot. I think that has to do with maturity. So I don't necessarily think that it will affect his draft. I don't think it'll affect his draft stock at all. The Jaguars have already, I did some research on it last night. The Jaguars have already given him a playbook.
Okay. They all the top 5, top 6 teams always give any top prospects a watered down playbook.
He's the only one that's gotten a full playbook, and he's the only person they've actually given a playbook. The Jaguars actually confirmed it too.
Yeah, but I'm sure the 49ers have given him a playbook. The Falcons have given him a playbook too. It happens all the time.
Give that out like that though.
Every top 5 or 6 teams gives a watered down basic formation package of their playbook. It happens every year. So that's not a big deal to really look into. Combs, do you want a quarterback on your Chicago Bears that has a chip on their shoulder?
I want a quarterback, period. I want any player coming out of the draft to have a chip on their shoulder. I want them to know that they have to prove that they are what they say they are. And this is another red flag for me with Trevor Lawrence. This is another reason why I feel like this kid is just going to be a bust in the NFL. You don't have a chip on your shoulder, so what you're telling me is that you're coming into whatever team drafts you with no worries in the world because you think you are the best player to ever step on the field.
Confidence. I want my quarterback to have confidence.
That's not confidence, that's stupidity.
That is confidence.
You need to have a chip on your shoulder to go out there and be like, look, I'm going out there and I'm going to prove to everybody that I am everything that I was, that I was promoted to be. I am that number 1 draft pick. I am the guy who, if you wanted to build a prototype for a quarterback, you would build me. And I'm going to show everybody that. I'm going to go out there. Tom Brady won 7. I'm going to win 8. I want that chip on. If you don't have a chip on your shoulder, you don't have anything to play for.
Yeah, like it is almost like you are walking into the NFL, meaning like you have nothing to prove. Like, do you get that sense at all, Wyatt? He says like he doesn't have anything to prove.
Well, he didn't say he had nothing to prove. He just said that he doesn't have that chip on his shoulder. I don't even know what he was trying to get at. He's just saying he doesn't have a chip on his shoulder. I think that people are diving too far into it. I think it's just that, he's never been slept on. Everybody's praised him. I don't think, I think he's got confidence in a sense. And you are right. Sometimes that is stupidity, but sometimes stupidity and confidence can go together, like peas and carrots. Sometimes it's a good thing. And I'm telling you, this kid's got the X factor. He is 100% the best player.
The bust factor.
Is the X factor being too confident / cocky going into the Jacksonville Jaguars, Combs?
He is not cocky.
Sorry,
you said cold. I didn't hear that.
Look, he might be a guy who's got a chip on his shoulder or doesn't have a chip on his shoulder because he knows he's going to Jacksonville and they're not going to win for the next 20 years anyway. Maybe that's why he doesn't have a chip on his shoulder. Maybe he doesn't have a chip on his shoulder because he knows, hey, whatever money I'm making the next 5 years in the NFL, I'm stealing it anyway. So, right. Maybe that's why he doesn't have a chip on his shoulder. Doesn't have a chip on his shoulder because he's always had everything handed to him. And this kid is not built for the NFL, and we're going to see that here starting this season.
Why? What are your thoughts about that? Not built for the NFL.
Telling you, man. Just as long as they give him a good O-line and he's got some decent weapons around him, Trevor Lawrence will be successful wherever he is.
Jacksonville Jaguars. Good O-line and decent weapons. Good.
He's got some decent weapons.
Weapons are
Chark's
there.
a heck of a
Yeah.
receiver.
The
Keelan Cole's a good receiver.
All right.
So
James Robinson's a great running back.
So then he has no excuses to not be good this year, right?
Well, he doesn't have an O-line.
That's what you're saying, right, Wyatt? He has no reason to not be
I
good
said he's
this year.
got decent weapons. I said he still needs an O-line too.
But that's what you said.
Joe
You said
Burrow
he
had
needs.
decent weapons, but had no O-line. We saw what happened to him. He tore his ACL.
Okay, so what you're doing right now is hedging your bets, right? Here comes
I'm
the
not
Waffle
hedging anything.
Wyatt.
I'm telling
Here
you.
comes
I just
Waffle
gave you a
Wyatt.
comparison for him.
Yeah.
He's Joe Burrow.
So tell me he's got no reason to not be good this year.
He doesn't have it. He does have reasons to not be good.
Why?
He's playing for Jacksonville.
Why? But they got decent weapons. You just said it.
They got decent. I said he needs good weapons and a good O-line.
No,
He
you
needs
said.
decent
Oh, now you're
weapons and a
changing your.
terrible O-line.
All right.
I said that. Reverse the tape and look at it. Reverse the tape and look at it. I know.
All right, guys. So we are going
decent
to take
weapons and a good O-line.
a quick little break here. On the other side of the break, we got Shop Talk head. Now, if you guys want to talk anything about in the chat here, let us know on youtube.com/manhour. And as Wyatt Williams did basically say that the only way Trevor Lawrence is going to be good is if he goes to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Insert foot.
So, yep. So, guys, we are going to take that break, and we'll be right back here on the Man Hour. Let me put the correct overlay up. There we go. Shop Talk coming up here on the Man Hour. We'll be right back.
That'll bring us to the 2-minute warning.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeyes along with Brandon Combs and Wyatt Williams tonight. We've had an action-packed show. If you missed any part of it whatsoever, you can go to iTunes, Spotify, or iHeartRadio. You can download the podcast form. Just simply search Man Hour Sports Talk there. It will come right up. It is the only one there because Man Hour is a unique brand that nobody else has out there because this is live, raw, and uncut sports talk. Also, you can head over to manhourradio.com, check out the merchandise page and blog section as well. Wyatt, you kind of seemed a little dejected over there since you said basically the only way Trevor Lawrence can be good is if he goes to a good team. So that kind of denotes me as a draft bust, right, Combs?
Oh, he's definitely going to be a bust. And then he waffled all over the place. Oh, if he's got a good old line and some decent weapons, and then I say, yeah, but he's going to Jacksonville. He's like, well, they got decent weapons. And he's like, they got decent weapons in Jacksonville. I said, oh, so he's got no reason to be good. Oh, well, I didn't say that. He's still going to Jacksonville.
Corey, back up the show on your live feed and listen to what I said.
I will I will upload the clip to youtube.com/manhour tomorrow for everybody to hear it. So be soon to be sure you're subscribed to that YouTube channel to hear exactly what Wyatt said.
Wyatt waffles faster than an Eggo.
You can label it that if I'm wrong. If you oh my gosh. Hold on now. if I'm not wrong and Combs is wrong, you have to say the meatloaf is now a waffle, something like that. Meatloaf waffles it up. That's what you gotta say. If I'm wrong, you can say Wyatt waffles more than Eggo, and then if Combs is wrong, you have to say the meat. It's meatloaf on a waffle.
Why am I meatloaf all of a sudden?
That's your nickname, meatloaf.
That's my nickname? Who gave me that nickname?
It was Meatball.
Meatball. I thought it was I'm pretty sure it was meatloaf.
You tried throwing
No, I'm pretty sure it was meatloaf.
Dude, first of all, it was meatball. Second of all, that's an old high school joke.
Right.
And third of all, I will kick you straight in your shin.
Oh, as Michelle comes over and says meatloaf.
I thought it was meatloaf. I did.
Hey, speaking of meatloaf, I do love a good meatloaf. Since we talk about food, just like all the time, I love a good meatloaf.
I used to like meatloaf, but then I realized that it's like meat with ketchup on it, and I'm like, ugh.
What is wrong with meat and ketchup?
Ugh.
I'm so confused.
Burger is good with ketchup.
Yeah,
but like just like it's like I don't know. It's like fluffy meat that you put ketchup on.
I used to like meatloaf, and I know Michelle's watching, but then my mother-in-law started making meatloaf, and like she doesn't put anything on the top of it.
Snap.
She doesn't use any. She just like balls up the burger and throws it in a pan, and it's
I just don't like that. Like the ketchup on top, it gets like hard and crusty.
So, yeah,
like, I feel like it's like candy.
So
I'm like,
I was like, oh, I'll make the meatloaf one time. I put all the peppers in it. I put some, a little bit of cheese in it. Through the topping on, I make my own sauce. It's not just ketchup. I actually put, like I actually make. She says I'm telling them. I actually make my own sauce to put on top of it, which is like a mix of stuff, and it was delicious. And they're like, oh, we don't like this. It's got too much flavor.
Got too much flavor.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. So we talk about food a lot on this show, and I think I know why. Like I gained a pound a week because we were talking about meatloaf and steak and tubes of ranch and everything else.
I ate probably 25 chicken nuggets tonight at church. Oh, they were so good. And all I had today before church was 2 granola bars. That's literally it. And I got to church and I was starving. I mean starving. And they had these Burger King chicken nuggets there, and they had barbecue sauce.
So hang on. You can eat chicken nuggets with barbecue sauce, but you can't eat hamburgers with ketchup on it.
Do you know
hamburger?
Do you know what?
Different.
Do you know what chicken nuggets? Do you know what barbecue
ketchup.
sauce is? The base of barbecue sauce is ketchup.
I like ketchup. I just don't like it whenever it's on meatloaf because it's like crust. It's like candy. It's not.
Are
good.
you like the guy who like likes burgers and likes cheese, but has to have a slice of cheese on the side of his burger and can't have it on top?
No, that's communism. Who does that?
Cindy.
My brother.
So the religions of communists.
So hang on, Wyatt. You said you had Burger King chicken nuggets.
Yeah, Burger King's got some good chicken nuggets. I didn't know it was good.
Are they the best chicken nuggets out there?
No. Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets are the best because it's real chicken that they chop up in a chicken breast.
Chick-fil-A nuggets are really good.
And bread it. Oh my.
So, are you telling me that Burger King chicken nuggets aren't real?
I don't know.
They're like Subway. They don't use real tuna.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't. They're actually getting sued because it's been tested and it's not actually tuna.
Jeez. Actually, you guys are.
Hey, speaking of tuna and meatballs, okay? I used to work at Subway.
And we don't care what you think about when you're working about Subway there, Wyatt. Man Hour Nation, rise up.
That's a good story, dude.
Guys, there will be no after show here for the rest of the week because apparently our website is full, so we can't add any more videos to there.
That's a website full.
So I don't understand. So that is why we are going to the members tab over on youtube.com/manhour. So there won't be any after show until next week, and I will make it up to those people that are members over there, and we will figure something out how to make it right for you guys. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter at manhour_buck. So we'll definitely figure out a situation for that. But starting next Sunday, the member tab should be active on the YouTube page. So, all right, guys, good.
Yeah.
Wyatt, you want to tell your Subway? You want to tell your Subway story?
Yes.
Okay. Go
All
ahead,
right, so I was working at Subway.
we still don't care how you think about Wyatt. Man Hour Nation, rise up.